The other day when I was praying, the word of the Lord came to me. He said, go into the water. I was praying and I didn't know what that meant. Go into the water? What does that mean? So the other night I was painting, and as I'm painting this painting that I had started a few months ago when God had given me a vision about the transformation of a city and how revival would come to that city. And when I say revival, I'm not talking about what most people think of revival as, but I mean like real transformation, the awakening, the reviving of God's people, His holy people, a return to prayer, a return to fasting, a return to consecration and holiness, a return to God, and a turning away from the apathy. So that's what I'm speaking when I say revival. And He showed me that just as the enemy is bringing forth darkness, he brings in forth darkness through media, through what people say, through what he shows. Like if you think about it, the amount of garbage, the amount of darkness and filth, and the investment he has made into Hollywood and into movies and even into art, because I've seen lately like an increase. I have seen an increase of dark, perverted images that people are calling art being displayed and put out forth. So he's putting a lot of effort. The enemy is putting a lot of effort in trying to pervert and defile people's eyes and minds and change our minds organically, because we are changed by what we look at. Just as we are transformed by how we spend time with God and beholding His glory, beholding His presence, the same way we are transformed by beholding darkness, beholding filth and perversion. And so that is why the enemy is nonstop on this. He wants that to be out. He wants the filth to be out there. Our job is to hold the line and set the standard, and to be able to speak out truth, and to be able to display truth and beauty and God's goodness. He wants that. He wants us to do that. He wants the prophetic artist to rise up and to paint. Ezekiel 47. I'll prove it to you that if God is calling you to paint, that you paint. God is calling you to paint, you should paint. We're God's temple. We are His temple. In the vision, Ezekiel 47:6, He asked me, "Son of man, what do you see?" Then He led me back to the bank of the river. Where I arrived there, I saw a great number of trees. He said to me, "This water flows towards the eastern region and goes down into the Arabah, where it enters the Dead Sea. When it empties into the sea, the salty water there becomes fresh. Swarms of living creatures will live wherever the river flows. There will be large numbers of fish, because this water flows there and makes the salt water fresh. So, where the river flows, everything will live." I want you to think about that. Where the river flows, everything will live. And that is what our Heavenly Father showed me. He showed me that as we proclaim His truth and speak His truth as life out of our innermost being, as we let that loose, as we let the rivers of life that we carry inside our innermost being, as we let that loose, Life. We're setting forth, setting loose life. And so this painting is she's coming out of the river, and the water is dripping off of her hair, if you can see it. And she's painting life over the city. She's speaking life over the city, over the darkness. She's speaking life. And that's what we need to do, all of us. We need to start speaking life, being a light and speaking life over things, because that is what we carry. This is the art of worship. Be sure to check out the website Levante Art by Sienna and the podcast, The Art of Worship. God bless.